worriest person, yeah. I worry, yes, I worry a lot. I just analyze until I'm paralyzed.
And you've always been that way even since you were a little kid?
Yeah, but it got worse with time. Some days I feel anxiety, some days I feel depressed. So it takes turns. I mean, I just think of things in the past. I can't forget about the past and live in the current time. And that's the reason I get depressed. And when I get anxious, I'm looking too much into the future. What's going to be next month, 3 months from now, a year from now?
Why do you think you look in the past?
Well, when you're younger, you don't have any health problems, and your relatives are younger. You look better, you feel better when you're younger. A lot of the stress has to do with getting older. I'll just do anything that makes me feel younger. And lifting weights makes me feel younger. And watching soccer makes me feel younger. And going back to school makes me feel younger. I don't like things that make me feel older. Nobody does.
Why do you think you have so much anxiety and stress?
You know, I'm just in such a rush to get things done. It's just, I feel like I'm in a NASCAR race. I'm going around in circles on the track, around and around and around, and I'm pressing the pedal to the metal to reach the finish line. Time is running out. It's just like the clock on the wall just ticking and ticking and ticking, and you can't stop. I just wish I could put a hand on there and just make it stop from ticking. It's like not one thing, but just a whole bunch of things. I just always lived in a large metropolitan area, and it's very stressful. The stress of the rush hour life in a major city. When I'm sitting in traffic, I get exasperated because there's a slowpoke in front of me and a tailgater behind me, or when I'm waiting in line at the checkout, there's the cashier talking chit-chat nonsense with some customer like nobody else is around, and there's a line of people behind me. I can't stand it neither. I wish I could live in a small town where there's no traffic and there's no crowds. You know, it's just the slower life. And I don't like either taking airplanes, like going on a trip on an airplane, because when I go on a trip on an airplane, I got to figure out time to head to the airport, taking the rail, finding a place to park, finding the right ticket counter, figuring out where the gate is, and go through this security where I almost have to strip down to my underwear to go through security. You got to remove everything out of my shoes, my jacket, my glasses. You know, people running things, they don't know what they're doing. I have no control over it. That's the whole problem. I need to be in control. You can't trust anybody there. You can't trust a surgeon. You can't trust a doctor. You can't trust nobody these days. I have to be a jack of all trades and be my own chiropractor, my own pain doctor, my own lawyer. I've been unemployed for 3 years because I know I got injured on the job. My job involved just lifting constantly and getting in and out and all that kind of thing. It was a very physical job. And I just got a hernia from just like weak abdominal muscles. And they just put a patch and just cut me with a pair of scissors and, just like patching a tire or something, instead of doing it with lasers, which would be a lot better. The pain was so intense that I never had this kind of pain before. I had like root canals and crowns before, but when you're in pain like 3.5 years, and I was walking with a cane for like 5 months, and I thought like my intestines were going to come out. I thought I'd end up in a wheelchair, and I told my mother that it's just on your head. It's just like, if you think like an invalid, you'll become an invalid. You're not going to be in a wheelchair. It's all in my head. And the surgeon, when I came back to see what is going on, because something's terribly wrong, he just kept lying to me, saying that everything is fine, take some aspirin. He was pretending that I was faking the injury and the pain when I was walking with a cane, just to cover himself, not admitting his wrongdoing because he was afraid he would lose his practice. He was more concerned about that than my pain. I couldn't walk, I couldn't lift, I couldn't do anything. I was just getting to run around in one doctor says one thing, another doctor says something else, and I don't know what's going on. And you couldn't get a straight answer. It's just they're just covering themselves. So I decided to take things into my own hands. So I took them to small claims court, and they took it. So they scheduled my court date New Year's Eve, like a couple of weeks heading to that court date. I mean, I'm terrified that my mother will have a stroke, but I thought I was going to have a stroke myself because I checked my blood pressure. It was 160 over 100, and I had headaches and felt lightheaded, and I felt like one of these arteries going to my neck going to my brain right here was just like boom, 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 like the way the heart beats right here. It is just incredibly stressful, so I just dropped it on down Zen on that. But it's just, you know, a lonely person dealing against a rich, powerful, corrupt medical establishment is just driving me crazy. It's just hard to concentrate when you have all these things going through your head. It's just like, you know, dealing with legal issues, seeing this doctor and that doctor and the next, and going to school and taking these courses and taking exams, and it's just overwhelming. Having to make decisions when you're not really informed about things.